All right, so in today's class, we're on week 12, March 29th. We'll be working on Excel 3-1 pause and practice today. The homework that's due for April 4th by 11:59 p.m. is the Module 5 Excel worksheet assessment. Also, we'll be working on the ACT test or the practice test. Next week, week 13, we'll be working on Module 4, start working on PowerPoint. You'll have a student survey to fill out next week as well. And then the homework that would be due next week would be the PowerPoint 1-1 pause and practice. And that'll be due April 11th at 11:59 p.m. Do we have any questions? So to get to tonight's exercise, which is again Excel 3-1 pause and practice, you have to go into Blackboard for this class, go into modules, scroll down to module 5, go to assignments, and again you'll be doing the module 5 practice ACT after we get done with this pause and practice exercise. But for this exercise, you go to module 5 practice exercises, scroll down to Excel 3-1 clustered column chart object, and you see that the pause and practice is in the book on page 604. In this activity, you will be completing a report for the Paradise Lakes Resort. Please use this Excel file to complete the assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and download this file. Okay, so the file was downloaded in this PC downloads folder. So it's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the instructions. Step 1 says, open the Paradise Lakes-03 workbook from your student data files and save it as your initials space PP space E3-1. So this is where it got downloaded to this PC downloads folder. I'm going to go ahead and click on enable editing. And as you can see, it already populates some data in here. Here's the current name. So to change the name of this, I'm going to go to the file to go to the Backstage, select Save As, and I'm going to place it into my Documents folder for this course under Assignments. And I'm going to use my initials, space, PP, space, E3-L. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And see you see the name change right here up at the top. So now I can move on to the next step, which says create a chart object. 2A says select cells A4 to D8 on the Case Lake sheet. These are labels and values for the chart. So I'm currently on the Cass Lake worksheet. So you see you have two worksheets down here, Cass Lake and Revenue. So I'm on the Cass Lake worksheet. It tells me to select A4 to D8. And you have a quick access or quick analyst option here. It does tell you to select the quick analysis, but there's another way to get to insert charts, but we're going to go ahead and use this quick analysis. So that takes care of 2A and 2B. 2C says click clustered column. right, so you see that it puts a chart in the worksheet for you. So we're going to move on to step 3, which says position and size the chart object. 3A says click the chart object if it's not selected. So it's selected now. The way that I know that it's selected is that if you look on the perimeter of the chart, you can see resize squares. So if I point to this resize square, you see I can make it bigger or smaller. I can make it wider or narrow. Another way that you know that you're on the chart is that a new menu, two new menu options show up. You have chart tools, design, and chart tools format. Once I click off of the chart, you see that those two menu options disappear. Once I click on the chart again, you see they come back. So that's how I know that I'm selecting the chart. Another way I know that I'm selecting the chart is if I click off of the chart, look at cells A4 to D8 when I'm clicking away. Once I click on it, you see that it highlights with red shading, purple shading, and blue shading. So there's 3 ways right now that I can tell that I have a chart selected. All right, so that takes care of 3A. 3B says point to the chart border to display a move pointer. So if I go around the border, if I go to this square, oh, there it is. Okay, so there's the move. You see it's 4 arrows pointing in different directions. 3C says drag the chart so that the top left corner is at cell A20. So I'm going to drag it. I'm going to hold down the left mouse key and drag it over to A20. It says put it on the top A20. So there it goes. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. 3D says point to the lower right selection handle to display a resize arrow. So I am going to make this zoom in a little bit more. That way you can see the whole screen. So what it's telling me to do is point down here, and you see you have a resize arrow. This is the move arrow. This is the resize arrow. Move arrow, resize arrow. You see how they change. Drag the pointer to reach cell H35. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it, hold down my left mouse key, go all the way to H30. Whoop, that's 34. Let's go down one more, 35. That takes care of 3E. Step 4 says choose a quick layout. 4A says select the chart object if necessary. So again, I know that I have this chart selected because I see the little resize squares. In addition, I gotta make this smaller. You can see the new menu options, chart tools design, chart tools format. If I click away, you see they go away, but once I click in there. And then another way I can tell is if I look at the red shading or the shading from A4 all the way to H8. So I know that I have this chart selected. That takes care of 4A. 4B says click the quick layout button, which is located. Now this is, I got to make this smaller again so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so 4B says click the layout button, go to chart tools design tab. So here's the chart tools design tab. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to go to the chart layouts group, which is right here. And then I'm going to click that. And then it says click layout number 3. Figure 3-10 gives you an example of how it should look after you click on it. So layout 3, I'm just going to hover over some of these so I can see the names. So that's layout 2. And we have layout 3 right there. So I'm going to left click. That takes care of 4A, 4B, and 4C. 5 says create a chart sheet. 5A says select cells A4 to A8. And I know that I have cells A4 to A8 selected because the A column is highlighted or shaded, and rows 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are shaded. So that takes care of 5A. 5B says click the control and select cells E4 to G8. So I'm going to hold down my control key and I'm going to put that up in there. So I'm holding down my control key and I'm going to select E4. This allows me to select multiple columns and cells without them being side by side. So select E4 to G8. So again, I know I have E4 to G8 selected because I see that columns E, column F, and column G is shaded, as well as row 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I have A4 to A8 selected and E4 to G8 selected. 5C says click the recommended charts button. Now this is how I normally create charts. I go to the insert tab, I go to my charts group, and then I'm going to click on recommended charts. 5C says, or excuse me, 5D says select clustered bar. And you see I'm on the recommended charts tab. I can go to all tab or our charts tab, but I'm going to stay on the recommended charts. And I see right here, I can see how it's going to look in the preview section. And I see the name of this chart is clustered bar, which is that's the one that it wants us to use. But just to give you an example of how other ones look, I can click here. You see that's the stack bar. You see the preview screen. It shows you how it's going to look. Stacked area, you see it changes. Line, you see it changes. So there's a lot of different charts that you can use, but for this example, it's telling us to select clustered bar, which I have selected. 5E says click OK. The chart object is inserted and selected. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to minimize that and click OK. So you see it inserts another chart. So I have two charts on the Cass Lake worksheet. 5F says click the Move Chart button, which is located in the Chart Tools Design tab, Location group. So I'm going to go to Chart Tools, Design, and I'm going to go to my Location group and click on Move Chart. 5G says click the New Sheet Radio button. So I'm going to click on New Sheet Radio button and type QTR space 3 as the sheet name. So capital Q, lowercase t, lowercase r, space, and the number 3. So after I click OK, this is going to create a new worksheet down here. So now I have a new worksheet. So I have now, instead of 2 worksheets, I have 3 worksheets. Step 6 says choose a chart style. 6A says click the More button to open the Chart Styles gallery. So I'm going to go to my Chart Tools Design tab, so Chart Tools Design, and I'm going to go to my Chart Styles group. Here's the Chart Styles group. And I'm going to click the More, which this is the More button right here. It tells me to select Style 7. So before I even click on anything, I'm just going to hover over the different charts. So that's Style 1. Style 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to select that style. Step 7 says preview the charts. Select the quarter 3 chart sheet if necessary. So I already have quarter 3, that worksheet selected. You see the Cass Lake worksheet and the revenue worksheet, but it tells me to select that one. 7B says click the File tab to open the Backstage view. So I'm going to go to File. Now I'm in the Backstage view. choose the print, choose print to preview the chart sheet. Figure 3-11 gives you an idea of what it should look like. So I'm going to go to print, and you see that it gives me a preview here. 7D says click the back button to return to the worksheet. So we're not going to print anything out right now. I'm going to click the back button. 7E says click the Cass Lake worksheet and select cell A1. So I'm going to click Cass Lake, and I'm going to click on cell A1. And I know that I'm in cell A1, although this has cells or columns A through H selected. I see that row 1 is shaded, but if I look in the name box, it tells me that I'm in cell A1. 7F says click the File tab and select Print. The worksheet and chart are previewed on a single page. So I'm going to click on my File tab to go to the Backstage, click on Print, and I see all the data as well as the chart. 7G says click the back button to return to the worksheet. I'm going to click on the back button to get back to the worksheet, and that takes care of step 7. Step 8 says save and close the workbook. Figure 3-12 shows you how each worksheet or each chart should look on the worksheets that we worked on. So if we look at the quarter 3 worksheet, that looks correct. And if I look on the Cass Lake worksheet, that looks correct as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save, and then I'm going to close out. And that takes care of Excel 3-1 pause and practice. Any questions?